Yeah, I came to Chicago to go to Northwestern for my undergrad degree in engineering. Good school? You approve? Good.
Couple of them in here.
So I transferred into music after a couple of years. I got my degree in music, went on to work at a recording studio. I've kind of always been a geek, playing with computers, and as a way to make money while I was doing the entirely unmoney-making profession of making music, I started fixing people's computers and going to their house and installing printers, teaching them how to use how to print photos and stuff like that. And just people kept on asking me to do increasingly difficult things, and slowly, through no real ambition of my own, built up the skills necessary to build websites and got really into it, and kind of started to see it as a means of expressing creativity or communicating that was just as satisfying, if not more so, than being a musician. So slowly got less interested in music and more interested in technology. I got a couple jobs working as a developer and got to know some high-powered, investors here in Chicago, just because I was working for their companies. And then went back to school for a graduate degree in public policy at the University of Chicago. Yeah,
good school.
One that I prefer, by the way. I prefer for what it's worth. Sorry,
You're at Northwestern.
We suffered through it.
I was there working on a website called Policy Tree, which was a way to visualize political debate, and trying to get a degree. After about 3 months, one of these investors from a company I'd worked at heard about an idea I had for a site that became thepoint.com. And when he heard about it, he called me up, like literally in between classes, asked me to give him the quick pitch, and then said, "Why don't you put together an outline and we'll turn this into a company maybe." And so he offered to give me some money to drop out of school, and it seemed like an opportunity that was too good to refuse. At the time, I didn't know anything about entrepreneurship or venture capital or any of that stuff. I was just a guy that liked to create things. So that was the beginning of 2007. I'd been in school for a glorious 3 months, and we launched The Point in November 2007. Now The Point is basically, if you know what Groupon is, which is this collective buying site that's based around a tipping point where you have to reach a minimum number of people before the deal becomes activated. So Groupon was a much more broad application of that. I'm sorry, The Point was a broader application of that principle. The Point was trying to solve some of the problems of collective action. Anyone can start a campaign on The Point to get a group of people together to either do something or give money towards something, but only once you reach a critical mass that will actually make it worthwhile. So say you want to fund some kind of a project, a new park, or a presidential candidate that's thinking about running for office. You can give money, but your money you can commit money, but it's only actually charged on your credit card until you reach that. Once you reach that minimum, that whatever it is you're trying to achieve will actually get done. Same kind of thing with action. So if you're upset at the oil company for dumping waste in the lake, instead of just boycotting by yourself, wait till you get enough people coming together agreeing to do that until you know that the collective impact will be greater than the cost of just constructing proper waste disposal facilities. The Point launched in November 2007, and we played around with it for about a year. One of the ways people were starting to use it was for collective buying. So someone would start a campaign and say, if we can get 80 people together, we can all get a discount on an Economist subscription. And we thought that was cool. And there have been a lot of sites that have tried the collective buying thing in the past. So we thought, how can we really take what we've built and turn it into something that uses this principle that's actually useful for people and has the potential to pay the bills. So one idea that I really liked was applying it locally. One of the problems you have living in a big city like Chicago is there's so much stuff to do that the choice can just be overwhelming. And instead of going out and exploring the city, you just pick one restaurant you like or one movie theater and you go and do the same thing. And then all of a sudden, it's 40 years later and you haven't really experienced the city. So the idea with Groupon was focus in on one really cool thing to do in the city every day and get a whole bunch of people to use their collective buying power to negotiate a deal that one person couldn't get by themselves. And we launched that in November 2008 with about 400 people on our mailing list, and it's
Where'd
now...
you get the 400 from?
Just passing out flyers around our building,
Okay.
yeah, and like illegally putting signs in the elevator.
So 400 people, and just curious, how far have you moved? How many subscribers do we have?
We're at
now?
about 2.5 million now.
Okay.
Yeah, and we've grown. We obviously launched in Chicago. Our second city was Boston in March of 2009. Third city was in May of 2009. That was New York, and now we're doing about a city every week.